those goodies, now you can't have any fat either. And so I'm like, well, geez, I kind of like French fries. But boy, I can't give up these things. I
This
can't
control.
Yeah, I can't give it up. So I'm like, okay, where's the contract? So you can see how this goes. Every few days, few weeks, whatever, the salesman comes back again.
Out. You know, as you're doing this course, I'm thinking that's what I did.
Well, that's what
I was
everybody
ending up,
does.
I was eating, I used to make milkshakes out of cracked ice and vanilla and instant coffee. And I would feel fat. I would say, oh my God, I've got to go work this off. Yeah.
And in effect,
That I'd already talked to the salesman several times.
That's right. And he had said,
I had nothing left.
Right, and he had said, you know, if you want to keep these goodies I'm giving you.
But what does that do to a relationship? Because what you're doing is I've often thought that for me anyway, my entire life is in here. I deal with everything in here. I made the decision to stop this. It was the hardest thing I ever did. And let's talk about that too. And this is why this is so good. I had no one to help me, no one who knew what was, nobody who really cared. You know, oh my, she's better get a bigger plug for the bathtub. She's going to go down right through it. And I just suddenly had myself. And all of a sudden I thought, well, you know, you can just sit here and do nothing but worry about what you're eating and then throw it up and do all these little things I was doing. Or you can get out and get a life. And by the time I got to that decision, I was such a mess that it really took a long time.
Sure.
Just getting out, much less getting a life. So let's talk about how to make it easier, because this book is understanding your loved one's eating disorder and how you can help.
The first thing that I always tell people with eating disorders and their loved ones is that this is not about food.
No, it has nothing to do with food.
No. And that's such a surprise to them because it looks like it has everything to do with food. It's an eating disorder, right? It's all about food and weight. It has like this much to do with food and weight and this much to do with everything else. And what it really has to do with is emotions, you know, at the bottom line. And so that goes a long way if we can start to help people understand that, okay, it looks like she's afraid to eat a hamburger. But she's not really afraid of the hamburger. She's afraid of everything that goes along with the hamburger, which has nothing to do with food.
What else goes along with the hamburger?
So if I'm confronted with a hamburger, my decision, since I don't have an eating disorder, my decision is, hey, am I in the mood to eat a hamburger? Do I like a hamburger? Do I want to eat it right now? And that's the end of my decision-making process about it.
That has nothing to do with my decision about a hamburger. Tell me, really.
So someone with an eating disorder, their decision will have nothing to do with the hamburger. It will have everything to do with these things that swirl around in their heads, which are, if I eat the hamburger, I'm weak and a loser. If I eat the hamburger, if I have even a bite of the hamburger, I'm weak and a loser, and people will hate me, and maybe they'll disappear and leave me, and I won't be loved. You know, if I can just not eat the hamburger, it'll prove to the world that I'm strong. If I don't eat the hamburger, even one bite, I'll prove that I'm disciplined and have a lot of strength and nothing can hurt me. Those kinds of things. So you can see it's not about the hamburger.
And you're proving it to yourself.
Well, yes, of course, because the people around you, they don't even understand.
They're not even noticing that hamburger.
They're just wondering why you're not eating it and what is so scary about a hamburger. That's the level that most people are stuck on because people without eating disorders are not afraid of a hamburger like that.
I cannot imagine what it's like to feel hungry or full.
That's what happens because it becomes an intellectual process.
Yep, all my eating is intellectual.
Right, as opposed to, it's like people become severed from here down, and it all becomes an intellectual process as opposed to really listening to what one's body
I don't think you can hear it anymore. And don't they often think that if they, or at least my experiences, if I ate an M&M, 30 pounds. Yes. I would gain 30 pounds immediately. Other people wouldn't, but I would.
That's the black and white. You have the only acceptable thing, in quotes, acceptable is no M&Ms. And if you even have one or a half of one, the only other choice is completely failed.
But if people understand that it isn't just all food and no food, it's limiting food. I always have little things I won't eat.
Yes. Because you get rules about food.
That's it.
Based on the
rules,
salesman.
and the rules are the security.
Yes.
Yeah, so now I can understand that this I can eat, this I can't. This I can have all I want.
Right. So then
Which is something like Pebbles or something.
So then a grape becomes either a good food or a bad food. And it's all about if a grape is a bad food and I can avoid eating a grape, I'll be safe in the world. Nothing